Welcome to episode 4 of Life Without Cravings. I was thinking about one of the things that I found most frustrating about myself when I was trying to quit sugar. I would fall off the wagon and then end up being out of control for weeks or sometimes months at a time because I didn't have the energy to get back on the wagon again. That was what I used to tell myself. I always used to tell myself this, that I didn't have the energy to quit right now and that I would wait for something to happen that would kind of get me motivated and ready to quit again. The only problem is that there is no motivation to just wait for. It's not going to come. Because mentally I was defeated. And starting again from the beginning, when I was feeling defeated, would have required a lot of willpower that I didn't have. And on top of that, there's always life. When I was at uni, for example, I didn't have the energy because I had essays to write or exams to prepare for, and having to resist cravings while doing that didn't work very well. I didn't get a lot done. And eventually I would just give in anyway, probably. When I was employed, I always had other justifications as well. So perhaps I had a particularly tough week in front of me with maybe long days or late evenings, or a particular research project that I needed to figure out, or just the knowledge that the next week we would have, let's say, a company lunch or something, and then there would be treats, and I didn't want to miss out on those. So I would delay until after that because, hey, otherwise I have to say no to the treats, and that's not something that I wanted to do. So I would honestly just grasp at anything to justify why I didn't have the energy to do that. But what I want you to know is that when you really want something, when you desire something, you will be energized when you're going after it. It doesn't require energy, it will give you energy. Okay? So I'll say that again, it does not require energy to go after something that you really want. It will give you energy. Don't forget that. That's important. And I'm sure that you have evidence in your life of this, even if it might have been several years since you last went after something that you really wanted. But just try to find that thing that you went after and that you felt energized about when you were doing that. I have an example for you. I recently wrote a job application for a job that I really want, and I avoided writing it for several days because that's what I do. There is this anxiety and thinking that maybe they don't want me, I don't want to be rejected, so if I delay it, it's going to take longer until I get rejected. But once I started thinking about what it would be like for me to get this job. And I spent hours writing my application and researching, and I just got really caught up in it. While I was doing that, I was feeling energized. But for those days when I procrastinated and didn't want to do it, I felt drained. I didn't want to do it. It was like this application process, getting started on writing the application was just like sucking the energy out of me. But once I started, somehow all the energy just comes back to me and I'm full of energy and I just want to do it because all of a sudden my mind is imagining what it would be like if I got the job. What would happen then? And that is motivating to me. I was just going to spend maybe 45 minutes doing this, but I spent hours doing it because I really wanted it. So I completely forgot about time once I started. I just continued going. And then when I was finished with the application, I actually felt really proud of myself for having finished the task and done it well. And I felt hopeful about getting the job. Now, I want to add this as a side note. Once, if you're in this position and you submit an application for a job, and then you feel like, yes, I did it, and you're hopeful, and the next day you wake up and you feel like, well, that wasn't as good as I thought. That is just your brain's way of wanting to protect you from the hurt that you might feel if you get rejected. Because then you can just tell yourself that, well, I could have done it better and I knew that. That's just a side note. That's just how the brain works. We talked about that a little bit last week. So once you get started on something that you really want or working towards it, it's really a win-win. I got it done and I got more energy from it. It wasn't that I got it done and then I absolutely had no energy left, because I really wanted it. I wanted to send in my application. I wanted to get that process started. So the reason that you don't have any energy left that you think normally on a day-to-day basis, and what is leaving you exhausted a lot of the time, is most likely because you are going against your own needs and wants in life. If you on a daily basis is fighting yourself and you ignore your dreams and you just live a life that doesn't really feed your soul, of course you're gonna feel drained. There's nothing strange about that. If everything that you do on a daily basis is something that you don't enjoy, there's not going to be much energy left, because you need to use all of that energy to do things that you don't really want to do, or even live a life that you don't want to live. And so many people live lives that they don't want to live because it's maybe convenient, or they do it to people please because someone else wants them to live that life, or because they think that they can't have a different life, but they will still long for that different life. And then we won't feel good. And when you don't like your life, often the only joy that you will get out of life is the joy that you find in a bag of chips or a bowl of ice cream, unfortunately. So if there's nothing else in your life that makes you feel joy, of course you're going to go and feel very resistant to quitting, because that's not going to feel good, especially not in the beginning. Because what's left once you quit? You've just taken away the only joy that you had, the chips and the ice cream. There's no joy left, right? It's just a life that you don't even like, that you don't want to live, that you now have to deal with. And that's not a lot of fun. So you want to learn how to quit the processed carbs and at the same time take steps towards that life that you want to live. That's how you're going to keep your motivation up, and that's how you're going to get energy from doing it. So consider what you want your life to look like. How would you like to live your life? What do you want to change? And start making some of those changes. I'm 45 years old. I might have another 50 years left on Earth. I'm halfway. I don't want to waste those years by doing things that I don't want to do. It doesn't make me feel good. Like, why would I want to do that? But so many of us do that, but not from a conscious choice. We do it out of a fear of failing, fear of changing, fear of people thinking different about us. So many reasons that are all up in our head for why we're not doing all of these things. My whole life, I have always craved the same thing. It's gone from something sort of abstract, just like a dream, like a wish, to something a bit more of a semi-solid plan for me. It's not 100% yet, because I'm open for modifications of that plan, and there are many different paths I could take, and right now I would be happy to take any of them. I think all of them sound exciting, but I can't necessarily have all of them at the same time. I'm sort of open and I'm just feeling my way into it, and I have time, but I'm still working towards it. And it's something that is on my mind every single day. I always think about it, I always dream about it, and I always get a sense of longing and hope when I do, because I now believe that this could become reality. I never used to think that it could. And that fuels my actions, and it keeps me focused and moving me forward on pretty much a daily basis. Everyone has days where we just like, hey, I need downtime. I don't actively necessarily move towards the goal, but I'm giving myself space to just regenerate, because I need that. And I keep doing things, and I keep thinking about it, and I keep myself motivated that way, even when everything around me feels like shit, even when I'm dropping my phone and it cracks. My new phone, I did that today. I dropped it and the screen cracked, even when I have a protective screen on it. So not everything is going to be great, but I can still stay motivated because I have this dream. And it makes me feel grateful for having discovered that I really can make this happen. If I hadn't had a coach, I don't think I had ever realized that I could go there. And it won't happen every night, I know that. But I'm taking steps towards it every single day, very, very small ones, but that's all that matters. If you can keep doing that, all the small steps will add up and you will get there. So when I look back over time, I can see that things are moving in the right direction. I can see how I'm moving towards that goal. If you think that you don't have energy or motivation to quit, just figure out what that dream life of yours would look like. Start imagining it. That's where you get the energy. Figure out what type of person you want to be in that dream life. Not just what the life would look like. Like, who are you in that life? If freedom around food is one of the things that you want, start thinking about quitting as an opportunity for you to start moving towards that dream life of yours. For me, food addiction has no place in my dream life, because I cannot be the person that I want to be if I'm addicted to food. It doesn't work. They are not compatible. I had to get rid of it. Quitting processed carbs is just like one of the steps that you need to take to get there. But it's one that will give you a lot of energy, like literally brain energy in terms of the nutrition, but also energy in your brain, because you will start thinking different and you will start seeing the world differently when you do this. But it's usually, for me, I needed to do that as the first step. I couldn't have done a lot of other things before doing that because my brain was busy being addicted to carbs. So I believe that for most people, we need to get those addictions under control. Then we can start moving towards the life that we want. And when you realize that you can pretty much decide to just do it, it sounds like super simple, but literally you can decide right now that this is what I'm going to do. And you can do it. When you realize that that is a possibility, you will realize that you can do so many other things as well. Things that you never thought that you could do. You will need the will to do it. You will need some strategies to get there, sure. And you will need the determination to see this through until the end, until you succeed. No matter how long that takes, you will probably fail along the way. That's just part of the process. But sticking with your goal and sticking with what you're doing and what is working is how you will get there. And I see this time and time again with my clients. Whatever they focus on is what is going to happen. Those who come to me and they take this process seriously and they do exactly what I tell them to do, they are usually carb-free within just a few weeks. I've seen some people be totally on board after just a couple of weeks when they learned the process. And other people will take a little bit longer, but usually when you take this process seriously, it can be very, very quick. Usually 2 to 4 weeks. Then I have other clients, they come to me and they have an idea already. They think that what they need is a coach that they can be accountable to. So just having me there, and that will somehow make sure that they stay on track, and that's all they need. And they struggle until the coin drops, until they really understand what this is about. And when they do, and they start committing to the process of quitting and the process of them changing into a different person, then things will start to shift. There's a huge difference there. And we're all coming from different places. Everyone's journey is different. One isn't better than the other. It's just the perspective that we have. And maybe we have been told that, or we have that belief because we think that that is the only way. That's fine. We work with that. And you can work with it too. Whether you work with a coach or whether you work on your own, just believe that the process will take you there. It works for everyone. Anyone with a human brain. And if you don't know how to quit, if you want the strategy, I have made a whole training about this. I ran it as a boot camp in April this year, and I can put that up on the screen. You can just go to pimjohnson.com/replay MYC, which is Master Your Cravings, and that is as one word. You can go there and you can sign up, and you will get emails with links so that you can rewatch the videos. I'm trying to get rid of it and I can't. Here we go. You can just watch that training, do everything that I tell you to do in that training, and you will have all the tools that you need. You will have all the knowledge that you need to actually be able to quit. If you rather get some personal support, you can actually send me an email at pim@pimjohnson.com. And what we do, I just set you up for a consult with me. We talk for an hour to see where you want to go, what I have to offer, and whether you want to do that with me or not. There's no fee. You can just do it if you're curious. If you want to explore what could happen for you, where you could go, just send me an email. And whether you want to go at it at your own or with my help, the one thing that you need to do is take action. I don't care what it is. But thinking and learning and watching videos or listening to podcasts, all of that is great, but it will not change your life unless you're actually taking action. And that's where the sticky point is for so many people. They just have all this knowledge, but they're not implementing anything, and then nothing changes. So only change will give you a different result than the one that you have right now. That's all for you this week. I will see you again next week.